Okay, we're back. Actually, I think there's a lot to talk about during this show. And probably the first thing is, of course, we've been talking a little bit about it in the pre-show. Having the kind of the first giveaway. I have some stuff sitting here that I've been wanting to give away for quite a while, and there's probably different reasons why I haven't done it. Some of it had to do with, I do have a lot of viewers in the UK and Australia, and I know. Obviously shipping and, taxes and everything. I didn't know how that was going to work. I don't want to, I'm not going to exclude them, even if I got to pay, shipping from my own pocket, that's fine. So, of course, we're going to have Brad 2007, which is from the Tech Webcast, and Tech Luster. I think I got both shows right this time. Hopefully he'll give me a thumbs up on that. He's going to sponsor a few prizes himself. Hopefully it's going to be, Apple TV and or the Boxy Box or whatever. And everybody loves prizes. Woo! Okay, probably the way we're going to do it is, first, once he sends me the money or whatever, and we order everything, and once it all comes back, and then that's when I'm going to get ready to, implement the prize giveaway. I'll probably do a short video, no more than a minute long. And, show out the prizes and what you got to do to win and stuff like that. And then if we got a lot of prizes to give away, I'll probably do it over a month's time. And each show, I'll show the short video and, new viewers that pop in and things like that have a chance to win. And I don't know, maybe this one's going to turn out to be quite a bit to give away, actually. I know I've got at least 2 or 3 items, so should be very interesting, to say the least. And, yeah. Well, I'm not going to make it really that hard. I mean, I might have, if you have a YouTube channel, I might have you subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I think most of you people are already following me on Justin TV. I'm not really going to make you follow me on Twitter, but, I think Brad wanted me to get more followers on YouTube. Because you got to think too, YouTube has got so many, people that make videos because they probably upload millions of videos every day. So it's hard to, there's so many people watching so many videos, then you're kind of like the small guy all against all these other millions of people that make videos. So, but I just do it for fun, and I just have fun, uploading some of the shows and videos up to YouTube. Now, there's several things in the news that I've noticed. One of them is, I don't know if you guys know what the SETI program is, and I don't know if it's originated in the United States or not. It might be multiple countries, but it seems like the SETI program is actually going away. And I think it has to do with government funding here in the U.S. I think it was funded for $50 million, and of course it uses radio satellite data to find aliens pretty much, and it's kind of techy, so I figure I'd cover that. Now, of course, this goes in the Stay at Home program, which, the average user, you can actually download that radio satellite data and use a computer to process it, and you upload it to the SETI servers, which I've actually taken part of it for a little while, and actually I've done it, I think it was the fall of last year. I did it for about a month, and I noticed also that they shut their servers down between Thursday and Monday, so you couldn't upload or download any data, and probably because they were running out of funds, so they perhaps had to shut it down. I'm not sure. Some of it had to do with maintenance and things like that, probably as well. So it's, it's in a way it's kind of sad to see it, program go away. But, it's kind of a shot in the dark anyway, because what are the chances of really finding any aliens or, can they speak English or whatever language? But, there's actually other programs you can do similar to Stay at Home, which is, it uses Boink now, which different projects, you can do medical research, you can do space as well. I think they got one where they were mapping the universe. you know, DNA and stuff like that. So you know, they have other programs to do as well. So that's going away. And now I've got some oh geez, all my other papers are flying. Now this kind of goes into my main topic, and I've been noticing a lot of this coming up a lot within the last week or a week or two. And this kind of has to do with the iPhone. Well, you know, it's not just the iPhone, it's other, you know, anything that captures data. Well, let me give you the specifics on this, where iPhones actually record GPS data, where you're located, the places that you visit. It may be a combination of GPS locations and or wireless hotspots and cell phone tower data. And I guess there's two researchers in the UK, I think originally, well, they weren't originally the ones that found it. There's actually some other people, but they're the ones that kind of brought it up to the public more, because they were, you know, actually do research on different types of iPhone data, and they found this. And they actually even developed some special software where you can, you know, download yourself and try it on your own iPhone. Now, interestingly enough, this actually will save the file on your iPhone, possibly even the iPad, but that's a little different, and whatever computers you sync it up with. So this is what it looks like when you actually download it and apply it to your computer. And I've actually done this myself, and it actually worked. And of course you can do it yourself as well. And as you can see here, this is off of a news clip here showing all the different areas that you visited. Now most of the time, I don't know, I kind of find it surprising because you know, the iPhone has a lot of apps that recognize that are based on location. And actually I went in there today and looked on my iPhone. I was like, there's a lot of apps that I didn't realize that use your location. Now most of the time I turn mine off, because to me it was common sense that, you know, if an app can, you're going to let them find the location, that somebody else might, you know, kind of use that against you. Well, I'm not saying per se. And yes, as it says in the chat room, Android phones do it as well. It's not just the iPhone. Now, on the Android phones, I think after a certain amount of time, it automatically deletes the database. Now, on the iPhone, it doesn't, I think. It actually keeps it even up to a year. So, and now when I used it, like I said, most of mine was turned off, my location. So when I did the software, you know, looked it up on my computer, there wasn't very many locations. The only time I really used it was to find my location on a map, and you know, all the rest of the apps I had turned off, so it didn't show very many locations. So and actually I got like a whole bunch of show notes. I don't want to miss anything on this one. And to tell you the truth, if you know, on the most part, I don't think it uploads that data to Apple. Don't quote me on that. I'm still there's a lot of news clip about this. Now it mostly uses this, and I've got it here somewhere. And most of this, these is used for applications that, you know, request your location, you know, and there's a lot of them. Some use the Google Maps. It could be even for Starbucks to find the nearest location to you. So I don't think they originally set it up to do it on purpose. And I know here in America, I know they're going really bonkers over it. because, you know, they're even having Congress, you know, calling Apple on this, and, you know, and I think it is a bit out of proportion, you know, kind of blown out of proportion just a little bit, but I could see where it might be a problem in the future, because, you know, you still got to be worried about things like that. I would be, you know, if my phone, now most of this, like I said, is either kept on the iPhone or on your computer. Usually if it's a computer at home, you won't have to worry much about this. It'd be more of a problem, you know, on the iPhone. If it was stolen, then they might be able to get this information off the iPhone. But to tell you the truth, I wouldn't be so much as worried about knowing where the places that I go to, rather than all my other information on my iPhone, because I got banking information, I have could be passwords or other things, and most of those I have turned off. You know how you can store passwords automatically so you don't have to type it in? You know, I'd never do that on the iPhone. I type each password in manually, so, you know, in case my iPhone's stolen, somebody's not going to gain all that information. So I'm more worried about that than where the places that I'm, you know, that I go to. And it's only, you know, it's not a specific tracking. It's mostly, like I said, Wi-Fi hotspots, and the closest cell phone antennas is closest to you. So, you know, it's only, sometimes it's not even that correct, because I know there's some, sometimes it could be a mile or two off. Now, you know, it's not only, like I said, it's not only the Apple that's doing this. You know, Android's also doing it as well. And in fact, anytime you use your cell phone, you're often tracked. And I think it's a law here in America. I've been seeing indications of that cell phone providers are required to track your location through cell phone towers, you know, where your call is originating from. And often, you know, police can use this information in tracking criminals and things like that. And they've done the same thing with the data stored on your cell phone. So in a way, that can be negative. Unless you're, I don't know, unless you're, you know, you're an actual criminal, then, you know, you probably wouldn't want to have that stuff on your phone anyway. And I put some of the reasons why the data is on there. I kind of covered before. The reason why they put it on the iPhone for these programs is because you could use, you know, most of the iPhones have the GPS tracking chip, excuse me, but it takes several minutes for that to work. It's actually a lot easier if it uses other methods to find out where you're located, like through, like I said, Wi-Fi hotspots and or cell phone towers. It's a lot faster. It can do it within seconds. So that's the reason why a lot of these, you know, all this information is stored on the iPhone itself, because it makes it a whole lot faster. You only have to wait seconds versus minutes with the GPS. So, okay, Carla Brown also mentioned your IP address can be tracked online. Very possibly, but usually, I don't know, it depends. If it's a Wi-Fi hotspot, it will pick up the IP address probably from the closest router connection. Now, if it's through 3G, I guess that would be different. Yeah, they finally tracked me. And how you doing there? We got Beneath Everything with Ronnie Rucker. We're talking about, I've been seeing a lot of stuff on the news on Apple recording locations on the iPhone and the computer that you sync it up to. And do you have an iPhone? Are they I think they're tracking Ronnie Rucker there in Hawaii. Because at one time they thought he was the backpack thief or something like that. I don't know, that's a long story all in itself, so. From your phone or router can be traced. Yeah, on the router. Well, see, often criminals, you know, they'll often drive up to somebody's house trying to get a Wi-Fi connection to do it through their router. So, you know, if they do something, actually, recently I also seen in the news people were there's this one person downloading child pornography, but they were doing it through somebody's home router that wasn't secured. You know, they just drove up closer to their house, they picked up the Wi-Fi signal, and they used it through that, and they tracked it, of course, to their house instead of the actual person. So I don't know, I'm kind of wondering if that's true. They're beneath everything. Yeah, black US SUV that has the men in black with sunglasses following you around. Okay, I do have an update that I just seen today on this. I think Apple mentioned that they don't use that data to really track where you're at. It's mainly made for the apps that are location aware. But whether this is actually going to be an iPhone update in the future, it says they're going to reduce the size of the Wi-Fi hotspot and cell phone tower data. They're going to cease backup cache. I'm not sure what that means. And it says they will delete this cache entirely when location services are turned off. And another thing, like I said, what I do is I turn most of my location services off for the program. I may not do it for the iPhone itself, but you can do it just for the iPhone. So most of that data is used for the phone companies. Now you're saying it through the cell phones itself, or now I know Google was big. You know, that's what they do. They sell data for advertising into their well, not competitors, but to their, you know, they sell it to companies and stuff. And now I remember when they had the this was kind of big with Google Earth. They were taking the trucks to I guess take the satellite pictures of the street or something like that. And it was also capturing Wi-Fi signals. It was especially if it was unsecured, you know, pulling data off of there, and that was a big thing. To me, that would be a lot worse than per se, you know, recording the information on your own device. To me, that would be a little bit different. Of course, it could be a big problem on the iPhone if it was stolen, and people could track you that way, I suppose. But supposedly they're going to be fixing that in a future update on the iPhone, and you know, I figure make kind of an interesting topic, because it has to do with, you know, privacy issues and other things. And yeah, so you know, police can pull up that stuff too. But here in the close future, that's going to go away. So okay, I've got some other stuff coming up. Now, recently, probably within the last month, I've done some unboxing videos. One of which was on the QuickTechPro software, which is diagnostic for computers. And you know, I was going to do an update video, also put it on YouTube. That kind of goes along with it. And so actually the other day I finally made the video that kind of describes what it does and things like that. Now, I'm not going to make it on I'm kind of making this segment not just for QuickTechPro, but there's also other software programs out there that you know, does the same thing. Some which are free, some for a nominal fee, and there's some that even for a couple $100, depending on what you need. And you know, there's some out there. I'll give an example. Free, I think it's it's MemTest like 86, which is used to test memory, which is, I believe, open source. And a lot of Linux distributions use it. Like you can boot up into it and you can actually test all your memory. And there's some hard drive manufacturers that actually sell CDs that do hard drive testing, mostly for their own, you know, hard drives. And some are actually built in the hard drive itself. So, you know, I figured it'd be kind of fun. I was thinking of doing this perhaps if I did a show on computer repair upgrades, but you know, I haven't done it for so long. I'm pretty rusty, so I just figure I'd show the video as is, and now I try to keep the video under 10 minutes. It ended up being 17 minutes. I didn't have a timer with me, so I actually split it up. So I'm probably going to show the first video, which is roughly about 10 minutes. But it's kind of interesting to see what it does and the information you can pull up on a computer. So we're going to go ahead and show that. Okay, this is the video for diagnostic software, something you can use to check out tests hardware, or if you upgrade something you can test that specific component, and or it gives you a lot of system information you may not necessarily get just by looking at the operating system or inside the computer itself. Now this happens to be QuickTechPro software. Keep in mind, I'm not really doing it just on that. It's just any diagnostic software in particular. So we actually did an unboxing, or I did an unboxing 3 or 4 weeks ago. So this is just a continuation when I had more time. Okay, this one happens to be self-booting, and if you can do hardware testing, it's much more better to get a self-booting, because if you go into the operating system, sometimes the software conflicts and or drivers and things like that might interfere with the hardware testing. So in many cases it's better to boot from the software itself. Now some of the tests you do have to boot inside the operating system to be able to test, but that's a different topic altogether. But on this one, it happens to have you know, quick inventory, which is at the very top, and all this basically does is give you a quick rundown of everything. In this case, it's got your four processors, actually a single processor with 4 cores, and it just gives you a basic rundown, and that's it really. And you can see there's just basic information. I think with any diagnostic software you really need to have a good system information. That's actually probably just as important than the actual testing. On this one, if you go to configuration, this will even break it down more and give you more advanced software or system information. Here this breaks it down in this system board. Now system info is for some of the older computers. There's SMI here. We can open that up real quick, and it even breaks it down even further. It tells you what things that the processor supports, and we'll get out of that, and things like that. I'm not going to spend too much time on one thing, and if you look on the right side, you'll see like a red arrow, and then that tells you it's got more information. And another good thing about it is it does support sensors. And now I'm not sure if it's going to show it on this computer. See, it's not detected. I think it's got to be able to detect both of them, and then it'll give you the hardware sensor temperatures and voltages. For some reason, I don't know why, it's only specific chips I think work. And it gives you basic RAM information, actually maybe even what slot, the type of memory and things. And you see peripherals. Okay, here where it says CMOS, read, write, and I forgot what C stands for. But you can actually save the CMOS information, you know, if you want to, and rewrite it back, I think. Now this gives you basic hard drive. It shows IDE, but that probably just about any hard drive. And let's go here. and then just give you a basic rundown of the hard drive itself, the type of hard drive, and so on. Now this one, the next one down is probably the CD-ROM drive, and then it'll give you the things that supports. Okay, SMART, which is most modern hard drives have. It basically tells you it's kind of like an early detection system, letting you know if your hard drives are going down. It'll give you time to back everything up. I think over on this side right here, as long as it's not in red, then I actually, and I haven't actually went through the whole user's guide yet to see what that all means, and of course the capability of all the hard drives. And I guess it's got a benchmark. It might be good if you upgrade, and then you can, do a before and after and see, if you have a gaming machine or whatever. Okay, that's just a quick breakdown of the system information. Like I said before, this is a quick information, and then here's the more advanced, of course. Okay, we're going to get into diagnostics. Okay, we're going to go to system board first. Now, if you look up here, this diagnostics software happens to support up to 8 cores, and if you look on the very right, this computer actually has 4 cores right here, so you can do quick testing. And I can actually show you what the test is on that. It's just got various tests. And it just basically loops over and over again until you actually stop it. And you can just see it supports AMD 3D Now, MMX, and things like that. And you can see it skipped the AMD 3D Now because it's an Intel processor. And we'll go ahead and exit out of that. Okay, NPU, which is I believe the math coprocessor, and then it does, and it shows you the various tests on this. And usually each core processor has its own math coprocessor, NPU. I hadn't figured this one out yet in the user's guide. I guess this is for multi-core processors, and here it's showing 4 cores. I'm not 100% sure what that is yet. And then you got your various tests. I may not go in particular. Okay, keyboard controller, interrupt controllers, DMA controllers, PCI, SM bus. I never really took a look at. Now, turbo switch is probably off the very old computers that used to have one. Speaker tests. And this one right here is for the hard drives. This one happens to support both the mechanical and SSD drives. Okay, H, of course, being hard drive. Here you can do a couple of tests. Now, if you want to keep the operating system on it, you don't want to choose destructive tests because that'll actually write over your operating system. And these are mostly reading functions. Quick drive scans through the whole thing. Random read, I believe, are like butterfly tests. It will read, it kind of goes back and forth between the beginning of the drive and the end of the drive, and then I guess it gives you a full read analysis. I'm not going to go through all that. It's going to take too long. Now, perhaps if you're a system builder and you want to check out some of your extra hard drives you're going to put in a client's computer, then you can probably go through all this and actually write to it and then test it out that way. The erase drive, I'm not 100% sure, but I think on this one and one of my other diagnostic softwares, it securely erases the hard drive in accordance with DoD standards, government standards. So I think it does, so many passes and puts random data on there. to erase, securely erase all your data. Now here's more on your Smart for your hard drive, and Smart actually does its own diagnostic tests. And as you can see up here, those are all the built into the hard drive itself. You can actually run those yourself or select certain ones. So it's got another way to test your hard drive. Okay, floppy drives are pretty much defunct unless you have a real old one. These are for the CD-ROM drive. And, oh wow. Sorry about that. I had it, the sound engaged. Everybody's going to be, ow. I went ahead and stopped it right there because the computer actually kind of locked up for a second because you're supposed to put a test CD. Sorry about that. You got to actually put a test CD, and it didn't read that test CD, so it hung up for actually about a minute, but it actually went back on there again. Like I said, there was the video is actually about 17 minutes long, so I wanted to stop right about there. So I know some of that stuff I didn't probably explain very well, but that's some good soda. I figure it's kind of interesting, some of the stuff you can do with some of the software. Now, I also got some hardware diagnostics that are, an actual expansion board, and I'll probably, okay. I'm not probably the best explainer, I admit. I used to take public speaking, and I still sucked at it, so, I actually had the proper training, but I admit I'm still not that great at it. And that, I figure a lot of you guys they're really into computers and you build your own computers, you might recognize some of the testing that you can do with it. And like I said, I've got some other. It's not really software diagnostics, but it's actually the hardware diagnostic boards that you can receive. It's called Power On Self Tests that leave a code if the computer won't even boot up. And it actually does other functions like test the power supply and things like that. I'll probably make a separate video on that in the future. And that's kind of interesting in itself. If you build a lot of computers or upgrade them or things like that, it's kind of fun to see that side of it. Actually, have you guys actually built some computers before and or upgrade your own? I know Beneath Everything does all the time. No, I know he's not as much of a techie as we are. He'd rather use his computer than overclock it, but yeah, he wants to overclock his to about 5 gigahertz, but now I don't really build, before in the past I used to build, quite a few of them. Now it's just mainly I'll just buy them, and then, at the time, if I want to upgrade memory or whatever, then I will, but I don't as much build them from scratch much anymore. It seems now I just don't have the time, and I haven't done it for so long. I'd have to research everything out because you just can't take a motherboard and just throw parts in it. It's got to be compatible with that motherboard and things like that. Yeah, usually the graphic cards are pretty easy. RAM can be, but like I said, you got to make sure it's matched correctly. And I don't know, I'd be too scared with water cooling. No, you know what? I think unless you overclock it, I don't think you really need water cooling. Obviously, if you overclock a lot on many things, then yeah, maybe water cooling's better. I'm just afraid I'm going to spring a leak and fry everything in the whole computer. But if you have a water leak, that'd be a bad thing. But yeah, okay. I just read that it says it scares the blank out of me. That's what Hellraiser 2 said. Are you afraid the same thing? You're going to spring a leak and then kind of fry things that way. Actually, it's been a while since I built my last one. Actually, the last one I built, I gave to my dad, and that's been quite a few years ago. Yeah, that's true. Well, actually, surprisingly, you know, I think like AMD or maybe even Intel, they sell like black label processors, which was developed just for overclocking, and obviously. If you use them, then it kind of voids the warranty, well, even a regular processor and or motherboard. But they actually developed some processors just to be overclocked. And you know, before, you know, you used to have jumpers, and now they implement it right into the BIOS now. And so you just you know, go in the BIOS, and then you just change the setting, the multiplier. Or the voltage. In some cases, you got to even you got to raise the voltage a bit, and you know, sometimes it's too fast for the memory. You got to, you know, so there's a lot of variables in overclocking. And there we go. Yeah, I think you plan on getting the iMac. I think you said the 20-inch iMac, I think, but. I have, you know, one time I did overclock. Now this is like a Pentium 166, and you had to set a jumper on the motherboard. I did it just to see if it worked, and it did. It overclocked it to 200, which worked easy. But the only thing with overclocking, especially extreme overclocking, you got to worry about cooling. So you know, you gotta think of you know, constantly, you know, checking your temperatures and things like that. But Pentium 1, there we go. Actually, Pentium 166s were good processors back in the day, and they were very overclockable. I remember the Celerons; those used to be real famous for overclocking. And okay, we got part 2 of the software diagnostic coming up. We're going to do some RAM testing and some more descriptions on that. And let me go ahead and start that video. It's a little bit shorter, so it shouldn't take too long. Yeah, that test got hung up for a little while, so finally got out of it. Here's your peripherals. Now, some of these obviously are on some of the older computers. Some actually have the old the 9-pin and the 25-pin serial ports, and you can test those actually internally or externally. Here, I don't think there's actually any serial ports per se, and it looks like no external parallel ports. Now, a lot of course, the printers use parallel ports, now use the USB bus. Here you can test USB ports. Actually, I guess you can test printers themselves. I didn't know that. Now, it also tests sound cards. They got to be the AC97 compliant. And okay, this tests also the network. Here, you have to detect the network first before you can test that. Here you can do the self-test internally, and the loopback. You actually have to put the loopback plugs in it, and it'll actually go through the outside port and back into the computer again to test the external port. I guess you've got a PCI modem and also FireWire. Okay, on the RAM, we're actually going to do this because it won't take very long. And here it tests many different kinds of memory. Base memory, I think the first 640K. Extended memory up to 8. On this one it's 8 gigabytes, and multi-core I think is above 8 gigs of RAM. Of course, your cache memory for like processor and other things, and VESA memory for your video card. We're going to go quickly into the base memory test, and because this won't take very long, and everything's actually set up right. Now actually, if you look up here on the right side, this shows you about 24 different tests that it does, which is algorithms. And let me see if I can get this to work. And didn't take very long. There was that much memory. Now this is great, like if you, not just for, you know, if there's something wrong with the computer, you know what it is, but if you actually upgrade a client's computer, you can, with memory, you can put it in there and you actually do this, well, you probably want to do the extended test. And you do about 3 passes, which will, you know, take a while to go through about at least 8 gigs of memory. And because even some of the brand new memory modules have been known to fail, so it's good to do that, because if some do show bad that you're going to give it to a client, then there'll be less returns, and the client be more happy having memory that works. So and pretty much self-explanatory with the rest of them. Okay, this is a test for the video card. It checks the different resolutions, and we might do that real quick. Maybe we could do the VGA. And no, I don't think. Let me try the VESA modes. They're going to show you a little bit better. And you can actually, let's test it right here. And it kind of tests all the video in the different resolutions. Well, actually only in that resolution. If you do the burn-in mode, it'll actually go through all these different resolutions, testing out each one. Okay, the monitor is really, I think, built for, based around the old CRT monitors, which I used to actually fix, repair myself. Some of these are used for checking out the, you know, the different colors, red, green, and blue, and the black and white. Vertical alignment was for the alignments, vertical and horizontal. So yeah, most of these are for some of the older CRT monitors. Of course, testing the VGA RAM and VESA RAM. And pretty much the same thing there. Okay, now often if you just do these tests once, it won't detect intermittent problems, meaning a problem that may only appear every once in a while. So it's often good if, let's say, you build systems from, you know, brand new parts, and it's good to burn it in using, you know, diagnostic software for, you know, a couple of passes over everything, or a couple of hours. Or if, like I said, if you just replace the RAM for upgrades, then you can just test the RAM, but you'd burn it in for so many passes. And here you actually make, you can run it in auto and it tests everything, or if you want specific tests, then you'd have to actually, this actually makes a burn-in script. And and here you can test which ones and how many loops, and oh, here we go, it should be new. Then here you can select what tests you want to actually run and how many times or minutes or whatever. And it doesn't want to work with me. It's being bad. And it can tell, you know, different statuses and how it can leave error messages and things like that. Okay, that's about it on the diagnostic software. Hopefully in the future I'm going to show you some hardware diagnostic solutions, which are like Okay, we'll just cut it there. It's pretty much over. I forgot. I remembered this time to turn the volume down before it would just feed back, and you hear the really bad loud noise coming. Oh my gosh, I think I bored everybody. Everybody's popping out of the chat room, but let me see what time we got. Oh wow, almost lasted about 46 minutes. That's pretty